Hey everyone, today I have the pleasure of introducing Okashi. Okashi is a smart contract developer platform developed for Soroban that's going to change the developer onboarding experience forever. My name is Morgan, and together with Johannes, we're the team of builders behind Okashi. We've been core contributors to startups funded by Y Combinator and other top investors that have grown to millions of users. We know what it takes to build something from 0 to 1 and beyond. 10 months ago, I started playing around with Soroban. I didn't know exactly why I was spending this much time on a new smart contract platform. I just know that I felt real joy when I compiled Soroban snippets into WebAssembly. You see, the web for me is the best open platform. All you need is an internet connection and a web browser. Unfortunately, smart contract platforms are not nearly as accessible. We have to empathize with the average developer, right? This is hard. And my goal is to fix this. And with Soroban, there's a potential to do that. In fact, between WebAssembly and the lightweight environment, I had everything I needed to build a browser equivalent for Soroban. I think the last missing piece from an already open and accessible blockchain platform. Now that's how Okashi was born, and now I would like to give you a demo of how it looks like in practice. Let's play the video. So Okashi is a web app, and we organize your code into projects. The projects can compile and inspect contracts. We use simple buttons to call contract functions, and we display the output and any logs as human-readable text inside the console. Since we're running the contracts in the browser, everything is executed instantaneously, so there's no wait time, and users can develop an intuition. Besides the console, we have a storage view which can visually inspect the contract ledger state and allow you to see what's in the contract ledger state. We provide function arguments using intuitive components such as this address widget that abstracts complex address values as simple names like Alex, Bart, or Callie. Okashi provides compiler messages straight from the Rust compiler, and they're extremely informative and decorated with links to the official Soroban documentation. With all of this, we can close the developer loop right in the browser and provide an experience that's open and accessible. We launched an open alpha in March. We've acquired 15 users that have each paid $10 to get access to the platform. This was a great way for us to provide a proof that Okashi has value. We've opened up the platform with an open beta last week, and we now have over 200 users that have created over 100 Soroban projects right on Okashi. Our mission is to onboard 10 million developers to blockchain. We think this is important because blockchain in our eyes is the only equivalent, the only counterweight to the closed monopolies of big tech. We're pursuing this mission with not just fancy features and functions, but with a lot of empathy for developers, because we believe that every developer can become a blockchain developer. They just need the right tools to get started. If you believe in this mission, try out okashi.dev online, reach out to me during Meridian or on Twitter at okashidev. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Stellar, for the opportunity.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for presenting. That was amazing, Okashi. All right, well, next up we have Christian from ElioDAO. Give it up for Christian.
Hello, everyone. That's fun. There are slides already. Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm Christian from Deeping Ventures. We are building ElioDAO on Stellar. It's a DAO infrastructure that we built open source, and you can see here, that's the team behind it. Some of them, Christian and me, we're both here, are actually a bit longer on Stellar already. We've been building DStock back in the days. And we have faced this problem quite a bit because we've been active in the space of building startups in the blockchain ecosystem. And every time we hit, or not every time, but most of the time we hit a block where we said, oh, maybe this would be better suited for a DAO. So let's not found a limited liability company this time, let's do a DAO. And every time we hit the same problems. We said, okay, there are lots of unknown problems around legal, around governance structures, and around vesting, and we don't even know where our startup is going. So we tried to solve this at Stella with IlioDAO. And this is basically an idea to have like a twofold solution to this problem. The first one is that we want to have a no-code setup. So basically, we want to fetch startups very, very early in the journey, so they should be able directly from the get-go saying, okay, I want to start a DAO. I don't want to think too much about it. I want to issue a token. I want to have a governance structure that is very straightforward and that I can do even within minutes. So the first thing of like having a chain selection and having the entire discussion should be gone. You should just basically go to our website or host it on your own because it's open source and start building your own DAO. So I have a few screenshots here so that you can see it's actually easy, but you should actually try it out. We have it on the FutureNet, and I'm migrating to the testnet as we speak. So you can basically set up your DAO. You only need a name. You can select from a few governance structures that we provide from the get-go, and you can issue a token. And basically have, you can upload a logo as well, and then you have your DAO fully set up within minutes. The other twist to it is that we thought about what one you do when you grow. When your startup grows and you have some changing things going on and you basically want to adjust to this. So what we took inspiration from was the Web 2 area, where if you remember the times of Shopify or even WordPress or content management systems, they had this very good specialized core, and then you can have a plugins and an ecosystem of plugins on top of this. And this is what we implemented for IlioDAO as well. So we do have at the core of IlioDAO the entire life cycle of a DAO around token issuance, governance, proposals, voting, and the likes. And we have on top of this hook points, which we introduced. So basically, and now it's getting a bit for developers, you can start implementing what's called a trade, which we have implemented throughout the entire protocol, and basically deploy your own smart contracts on top of it to extend the functionality. So our DAO ships with a lot of core functionality around, like for example, majority voting with a threshold and the likes, but you can swap the entire voting mechanism out if you like with just a trade, or you can alter specific things that happens when you change the owner of the DAO and the likes. And what we want to achieve with this, actually building a thrilling ecosystem on top of it. So if you're interested in this, so we have a Stellar project on Discord, so you can get there, and there's all the links to all the GitHub repositories, the actual front end that we build on top that you can start using it, and some other projects we're building. Christian and I are around as well, so if you want to get in touch with us and learn more, we are here and happy to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. All right, next up we have also Christian from Onchain. All right, give it up for Christian from Onchain.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. So I'm Christian, head of partnerships at Onchain AI. We're the leaders in Web3 security and risk management, and as our slogan goes, we're also the guardians of Web3 digital assets. So a little bit about ourselves. We work with 4 different customers in 4 different buckets. So top government agencies, as you can see there, L1s and L2s, crypto native firms, and large enterprises, some who we've actually built smart contract-based solutions for, as well as audited some of their smart contracts. So what are we solving for? So this is the problem. If we want development to exponentially increase on Stellar, we need more smart contract developers. So we've built a solution which is a smart contract catalog for Stellar's Soroban. So there's 3 key aspects of this smart contract catalog. The first one is that it's open source. The second one is that it's very intuitive and easy to use. And lastly, it's 5 smart contracts. These 5 smart contracts are foundational smart contracts, examples for the Stellar's ecosystem. So I'm going to get right to what kind of smart contracts they are. So before I dive into the smart contracts, so how do you access them? By going to catalog.onchain.ai.com, you will find 5 different smart contracts that you can essentially use, and it's ready and live today. So the first smart contract that we've built is a crowdfunding contract. For sake of time, I won't go too deep into what you would essentially be using these smart contracts for. If you're around, please find me, and I can share more. One key note, something that I do want to call out, is that there's 2 extra features on the smart contract outside of just the source code. The first one is that we're actually breaking down each function to explain what it does. Then we're also using ChatGPT to explain, in layman's term, what each function will do. The second smart contract is a non-fungible token smart contract, or an NFT. The third one is an NFT storefront, where you can essentially list your digital assets or your tokenized goods. The fourth one is a Soroban token, or an SBT. And the last one is an NFT auction storefront. I guess I do have 2 minutes, so I'll just quickly dive back into what they are. So crowdfunding contract, if you're hoping to raise or crowdfund, this is essentially where you would be using the smart contract. The second one is an NFT, or non-fungible token. I think by this point in time, we have a good understanding of what NFTs are. Third one is the NFT storefront, where essentially you can list your NFTs, sell them. The Soroban token, so this is an NFT that's non-transferable. It's sort of like your soul, it stays with you. The NFT auction storefront, this is where essentially you can auction your tokenized goods. And that is all. So if you'd like to learn more, as I mentioned, please go to catalog.antchain.com. Here's my contact information on socials at The Wolf of Block, our company's website, and our company's Twitter page. Outside of smart contracts, we also have a list of products that we provide to crypto native firms around compliance, regulation, and security. And that is all.
Awesome. Well, next, thank you so much. That was amazing. Next up, we have Alex from Slender. Take it away. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for coming over today to see our presentations. I'm Alex. I'm the co-founder of Slender, and we are launching the money markets on Soroban, and yeah, we're happy to contribute to the Soroban ecosystem. We think that compounded lending is the crucial building block for every DeFi ecosystem. So if we go over major blockchain ecosystems here in the space, we can see that like compounded lending protocols are actually one of the top dApps by TVL on every single blockchain. So for example, Aave, number 3 on Ethereum. Venus, number 2 on BSC. Meridian, number 3 on Arbitrum, and so on and so forth. And they actually have quite a bunch of assets locked within their smart contracts. And they represent certain use cases, of course. First of all, you can raise liquidity by just borrowing funds against volatile collateral. Then you can enjoy strategies for earning passive yields on your assets locked in lending protocols. And you actually can get additional liquidity for leverage trading, which is also exciting. So just brief overview of how compounded money markets work. I'm sure that most of the audience aware of this quite simple mechanism. So first of all, we have lenders who effectively deposit initial funds in the lending protocols, and they expect to get these funds back with a certain interest accrued on top of that. On another hand, we have borrowers who actually provide collateral, and this collateral gets locked in crypto lending platforms, and at some point in the future, they repay their loans, actually alongside their interest they pay on these loans, and get back their collateral. So Slender aims to become the important part of the Soroban ecosystem, effectively being the #1 lending protocol. So this is like the DeFi primitive that turns Soroban expectedly in the vibrant DeFi ecosystem by introducing, first of all, passive income on funds locked within Slender. Then we expect to offer kind of leverage for trading, which can be used by external venues for trading crypto assets. And like technical aspects which are important for Slender is, first of all, that we support standard tokens interfaces, and we also introduce LP tokens that can be used as secondary liquidity on secondary markets. So features that actually differentiates us from other lending protocols. First of all, we support portfolio of assets accepted as collateral. So meaning that you can lock diversified portfolio instead of locking just one asset to back up your loans. Then we have quite advanced risk management system, which actually helps assess volatility risk and price loans accordingly. We support flash loans, which is, I guess, also important feature for bootstrapping DeFi ecosystems. And we actually have embedded mechanism of solvency management. So I don't have like the walkthrough presentation of like interface, but I can just show you like the flow of borrowing assets from Slender. This is pretty straightforward, very sleek interface. You just click borrow, specify how much you want to take out from the protocol. Here you specify USDC, how much collateral you want to add, and bam, you have position on Slender. Pretty easy, sleek interface. So I'm sure that users will enjoy that. In terms of our further developments, we expect to deliver SDK for Soroban, so it will be easy to integrate into other protocols. And I think that given like that Stella is heavily focused on retail use cases, we expect to enable undercollateralized loan at some point by integration, user scoring system, and DID. That's pretty much it. I think you can reach out to us if you have any ideas how we can team up on certain use cases. Here's my Telegram. You can also schedule a call here. Thank you very much. That's pretty much it.
Awesome, that was great. Well, thank you so much. Next up, we have Mike from Relink. Take it away, Mike.
Hello. Okay, I just have to check. Okay, it's green and red, it's easy. Okay, so I'm Mike from Relink. Relink is a proxy service, proxying Oracle service from Chainlink to any chains that need it. It is built by Create3 Labs, a Hamburg-located company that is focusing on cross-chain products. Randomness is needed nearly everywhere in the Web3 area, right? So, but it's very difficult to achieve because it cannot be just generated on-chain because of the problems you have with the deterministic characters of blockchains. And off-chain generation would not be trustless, right? So therefore, Oracle services like Chainlink are coming into the game. And they have the problem they are not on all chains available. And that is due to the reason that they cannot serve just all tech stacks and all chains. That is where Relink comes to the rescue. We provide all the needed infrastructure, libraries, and everything that is needed to make random numbers available on any chain. We have created a small little demo to show how it's working on Soroban. So should start now. What you can see in the upper left corner is our smart contract that is requesting random number. Then on the bottom left, there is our backend service that is fetching the event that was emitted and then preparing everything to call our infrastructure deployed on Polygon in this case. And then this infrastructure is then requesting the random number from Chainlink. And once the random number has been resolved, it is then sent back through our backend and in the end received by the smart contract that has been requesting it. So the Relink services can be used by any project building on Soroban. We have open sourced all the needed libraries, updated the documentation, and we are ready to be used, so to say. We are planning to launch more Oracle services like market and data feeds, automation, or the weather API soon. For any projects building on Stellar, using Relink might be the easiest way to get those Oracle services on Stellar. We developed on FutureNet, and last Wednesday, when the upgrade was made on testnet, we also deployed on testnet already, updated everything on our documentation, and as soon as possible, we are going to launch on the mainnet for sure. If you want to start building, please check out our documentation and start building with Relink. If any questions, don't hesitate to contact me or anyone else from the team. So that's all. I would be really pleased to talk and get in contact with the Soroban community and builders that might be interested in using Relink for partnerships and building and to find out what is really needed. So thanks a lot.
Awesome, thank you so much. It was great. All right, give it up for Jason at Aquarius.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason Cudmore, the CMO of Aquarius, and I'm here to talk about Aquarius AMMs built upon Soroban. As some background, Aquarius has been operating since 2021 as a liquidity layer on Stellar, designed to incentivize market making and liquidity provision on the network. We achieve these aims by attracting substantial liquidity to Stellar, focusing that liquidity onto essential markets, which in turn enables for larger asset exchanges. We achieve these goals by distributing Aqua tokens as incentive to Stellar DEX and AMM liquidity providers every hour. Now, Stellar has always suffered from low market liquidity, which is why we originally launched Aquarius. With real-world asset issuance, a major part of the ecosystem, having liquid markets is essential. We did see liquidity slightly improve with the introduction of native AMMs in 2021 and an additional boost thanks to Aqua incentives. But today, overall TVL is still relatively low with about 14 million across top Stellar AMMs and an average daily trading volume of $220,000. So how can Aquarius leverage Soroban to bring more liquidity to Stellar? So I'm introducing today Aquarius AMMs, a complete liquidity provision experience with incentive distribution built in. And Soroban breathes new life into Stellar. It enables smart contracts that can be fused with Stellar's fast, affordable, and reliable nature. Combined with Aquarius's incentive distribution model, we now have all the tools we need to create our very own AMMs with the Stellar community's needs in mind. We are able, with smart contracts, to attempt to expand AMM types on Stellar, bringing stable swaps, multi-asset swaps, and concentrated liquidity pools. While leveraging other chains, well, AMMs from other chains, such as networks as Curve and Uniswap v3 and v4, our aim is to bring a complete suite of AMMs to Stellar, each delivering more usable liquidity for projects and their customers. Soroban allows us to build upon over 2 years of experience in distributing liquidity incentives, and we are able to port over our current proven incentive models, helping create decentralized incentive distributions. Our smart contracts are able to track, aggregate, and store AMM data, recognize the Aqua community's votes that set which markets are rewarded, as well as calculate and distribute those incentives. And we know from experience that to achieve growth, sometimes incentives are necessary. In fact, everyone you're listening to from like today was incentivized to build on Soroban thanks to the amazing Stellar Community Fund. And in a similar way, Aqua incentives are a stepping stone for projects, helping give an initial boost to a market's liquidity, which in turn can encourage attractive swap fee gains for liquidity providers, creating a self-fulfilling organic incentive, not just from Aqua incentives, but directly from volumes. As Aquarius AMMs are all designed to make liquidity more usable, our hope is momentum can gather quickly, helping deliver a rewarding experience for liquidity provision on Stellar that can rival other chains. We already boast a community of 124,000 asset holders on Stellar, with 10,000 already taking part in Stellar AMMs, and we hope that they continue using also Stellar AMMs, but moving over to Aquarius AMMs as we develop. Up next, I'll show you a short demo of what we've been building. Here is our user interface. Inside, you're able to create liquidity pools, deposit assets into those pools, and withdraw from them, giving you full control of your liquidity. By connecting a wallet, anyone can also take advantage of swaps, allowing for easy asset exchanges across Aquarius AMMs. In the future, we'll also be introducing smart routing to give path payments across all Aquarius AMMs. Although not available inside this demo, I can show you a few more slides of how Aquarius AMMs will appear once we launch on mainnet. We've introduced a clean and easy-to-use interface to create a more enjoyable experience for liquidity provision on Stellar. So our roadmap, we have had our SCF application of funding grant, which we got just last month, and we have ambitious aims to launch day one on Soroban mainnet later in Q4, as long as testnet keeps running as expected. Into next year, we'll be refining our decentralized reward engines, using Soroban to decentralize more of Aquarius, and as well as bringing updates to AMMs as Soroban matures. Thank you very much for your attention. If anybody would like to learn more about Aquarius, please come see me after this session. Thank you again, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your Meridian.
Thank you so much. That was great. All right, thanks so much. Next up is Jordan and Kobe from MyKobo. All right, give it up for MyKobo. Woo!
Good morning, everyone. A show of hands, who else is losing their voice? Okay, Jason, it's not just you and I, thankfully. Wow. So good morning, buenos dias. We are MyKobo. We're building the Euro stablecoin that allows you to bring it into the real world. Now, before we begin, I'm going to tell you 3 reasons why you shouldn't be building on Soroban. So number 1, if you don't mind sleepless nights, don't build on Soroban. Number 2, if you want to keep your customers locked up and you don't want to give them an on or off ramp, don't build on Stellar, don't build on Soroban. And finally, if you don't care about who your customers are, don't build on Soroban. But if you're still in the room and you've stuck around, obviously, you're still interested in building on Soroban. So we're going to share 3 reasons why we are building on Soroban. Kobe, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jordan. So central to the work that we do, our ramping and so on and so forth, is fitting within a very tight regulatory framework. As you all know, in Europe, that's not an easy feat. And one of the central pillars of our work is basically being able to know who our customer is, being able to follow that journey of their ramping process, and being able to tell other people that those people that are using our stablecoin, that are ramping and so on and so forth, have been checked by legitimate sources and also have been checked by legitimate processors. Now, of course, we have these pillars and so on and so forth. We are regulated and all of that business, which is great. But what does that mean for the user? Well, what that means is that a user is able to go through a KYC process in a smooth and seamless process, especially when they're doing things like doing a deposit, holding the stable coin, and doing a withdrawal that goes straight into their bank accounts, and so on and so forth. And so when we heard about the Soroban challenge, we decided this looks like an interesting opportunity to sort of entrench ourselves better and also provide a more seamless approach to proving who our user is. And so we built a proof of concept. Now, this is a truncated version of the thing that we are envisaging. The idea being that a user goes on to try and register as a person who wants to, as a customer who wants to on-ramp, and they go through a KYC process. Obviously, we've cut a few things out here, but this is basically what it looks like. So the user clicks on the start, they start registering. They fill in their thing, they put in a bank account number, and so on and so forth. We go to our backend services and do a KYC check on those details that they've given us. And then we record that information on the ledger. Now, by doing this, what we're saying is anyone who has access to that ledger, who has access to the Stellar network, is able to see this user's KYC status. Now, what's interesting about this is, of course, we're using the Soroban data storage primitives here, so we can tweak the lifetime of this data storage that we're doing. So we can say, well, we KYC'd you maybe 18 months ago. We can expire that and do it again as and when and so on and so forth. But the important bit here is that any wallet that has access to the chain can see that user's KYC status without actually coming to us. And this is, of course, just a representation of the status itself. It's not the detail. The detail we hold and our partner KYC providers also hold. And so in short, what we're trying to say here is that we see an opportunity in using smart contracts to smooth out that KYC process. And also, as you saw in the video, it was very quick. But what you saw was a KYC process happening, and then, as a result of that, a transaction happening as well. So this is basically you going through a normal transaction process on the network, but us tacking on a business process that is enabled by a smart contract. Now, of course, it's about speed. It's about speed, it's about speed. We're talking about being able to ramp Euro stablecoin, deposit, withdraw, and so on and so forth in a matter of seconds. This is not something you would get on a traditional setup, as you'd see on the screen there. Now, of course, what this means for our partners is absolutely everything and nothing. The point being that they don't have to do anything to make this work on their side. They don't have to, change the integrations or anything like that. All they have to do is just keep using our integrations as they are right now. And the point of the matter is that the chain takes over as it is. So that's us. That's what we're trying to do. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. If you have any questions about this, we kind of stick out. We've got t-shirts that say my Kobo on there. So come find us and we'll answer any questions you have. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hey, all 7 of you are here. That's and perhaps more elsewhere as well. So, well, anyway, thank you so much for presenting. Next up, we have Willem from Smart Deploy. All right, give it up.
Hey, everybody. Hi. So deploying on Soroban is hard, but it could be easy. So what is Smart Deploy? It's a set of tools for publishing, deploying, and redeploying smart contracts. It's made up of a Rust SDK, smart contract, and a CLI. So let's take an example. So let's say we have this add contract, adds 2 U32s together. All right, we've compiled it, now we're ready to deploy it. So let's use a bash script to make it a little easier. So first we install the contract, we get the hash back from the network, and then now we can use that as a reference to deploy the contract. So after running this, we get some output where we get these long strings back of the hash and the contract ID. But if you were astute, you might have noticed that there was an error because it could have overflowed. So now we use checked add to report the proper error. But then if we go back to our script, you'll see that, if we redeploy it, we'll get a new contract ID, which, now if anybody else had the old contract ID, they'd still be pointing at the buggy contract. So how do you redeploy? Well, this is the example from the Soroban examples. So here we have some init function, which stores the admin of the contract. And then we have this upgrade function, which checks that the admin's signing it and then redeploys to this new hash. This is great, but it's a lot of boilerplate and contract developers kind of have to reinvent the wheel every time. So redeploying is easy with Smart Deploy. So first of all, we have a macro called core riff, which provides these 3 functions. So the owner set, similar to the init function of the previous example, and then redeploy is the same as upgrade. So you see, it's 1 line to your contract, a little bit of boilerplate, but a lot less. So if we look at our first example, we had, after doing the initial deploy, now we just need to call that set owner, same as calling the init in the other one. And then here, afterward, if we had another script where we weren't going to do the redeploy, we would just, after doing the install, pass the new hash. That's great, but it could be better. So if you're iterating a lot, you can use our other macro, dev deploy. which does it all in one step. So here we have this WASM file, and then the ID of the contract we're going to redeploy. And there's this awesome feature that was added to the CLI where you can now pass a file path as an argument to the contract. So here, we're just passing the bytes of the WASM, and it redeploys itself. So all in one step. But you got to be careful because there's no checking of an owner or an admin. So if you should only do this on your own standalone network while you're doing fast iterations. So Smart Deploy is also a smart contract. So it allows you to publish named binaries so you don't have to deal with these hashes anymore. You have semantic versions, so you don't know when your contracts change and what that means. And that also means that these published contracts can be audited, so you have more, if you're new and want to use a published binary, you have that guarantee. And then next, you can deploy contracts, and you don't have to, so now you can have a named contract with a human readable name instead of having to deal with contract IDs. So the TLDR is if you are reaching for a handcrafted factory contract, you should probably just use Smart Deploy. And lastly, this is probably my favorite part about it, is it's also a package manager. So there's the Smart Deploy install command, which will install the bytes of the contract that you want to work with, including its contract ID. And so then you can just use this import contract macro, which basically feels like you're importing a crate. So there's no, nothing noisy about it. And then lastly, we're going to come up with a DApp soon, so that all these published binaries and deployed contracts you can interact with. So if anybody here is, developing smart contracts, you should reach out, because this is probably the best way to add a proper way to upgrade your contracts. Oh, and here's my colleague here, Alexandra, and myself, and there's the GitHub.
That was great. Thank you so much. All right, next up we have Julian from Mika. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, my name is Julian, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mika, and we are here to improve real estate transactions. A little bit about ourselves. My co-founder and I, we met working together at one of the largest PropTech companies in Latin America. He was the CTO, I was the head of business development. And it wasn't until we realized that we had the skills and the knowledge to actually impact the lives of 5.8 million tenants that we said we have to go out and do something about it. So we assembled a team of amazing industry experts to help us to tackle and attack this, which is what renting real estate transactions look today, to something much easier. As you can see, it's very messy, it's very expensive, it's very inefficient. And this is why we came up with our easy solutions. It's a suite of solutions, legal, financial, and technological solutions, which allow with Mika Rent to have rent protection, where we already have $750,000 US in contract volume in less than 6 months. We have Mika Pay, which is our payment solution, finance solution, which allows tenants to improve their credit score, use whatever payment methods they want, have access to credits, and also automate their utilities. And last but not least, we have Mika Escrow, and this helps to manage security deposits. So let me tell you a little bit more about Mika Escrow and how we are creating security and transparency in real estate transactions. Traditionally speaking, you as a tenant would deposit or transfer money on your landlord's bank account, and then you're basically exposed to the goodwill of that landlord to receive that money back once you move out. In our service and working with the tenants, we figured out that 70% of tenants in Mexico struggle to get that money back, to get the right amount, and that's where Mika Escrow comes into place. So we define the release conditions, use the security deposit, lock it via smart contract, and do not release the funds until both parties agree. We say trust is good, but control is much better, especially when it comes to real estate transactions. We've prepared a small demo, which I would like to show. where you can see how the damage schema actually looks like, Here you can see how the tenant sends the funds towards the security deposit, and I think the demo didn't start at the right time. So yeah, here in the demo, you should be seeing how the security deposit is being funded and the smart contract is being locked. We don't want to keep this use case only for rent, which is why we decided to use the use case and expand it also to other real estate transactions, and therefore be able to impact 1.5 million real estate transactions on a yearly basis. Thank you very much for your attention. Looking forward to connect with a lot of you, and thanks for sorry for the overtime.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, well, next up we have Jordi and Lucas from Dogstar. Take it away. All right.
Imagine a world where traders and gamers come together to conquer financial markets dominated by evil AI. I am Jordi Viladeu, and today with Lucas and Jonathan, we're gonna take you on a 3 minutes but exciting journey through our DeFi platform that unites the best of both worlds. Are you ready to discover the future of online trading and gaming? But we have a problem. More than 90% of traders lose money. So we have leveraged Stellar and Soroban to create a unique space where a user can compete in several 5-day rounds and learn at the same time in the Stellar blockchain with real assets and without risk. And it's not a demo. It's a place where a trader can build up his reputation and a newbie play and learn. This is how we are going to promote financial education, because without education, there's no freedom. Terry, our logo and mascot, will guide players in an entertaining way. And also, if the players at the end of the round manage to get some profit, they are going to keep it. The Dogstar League, it is not a sophisticated, well, a little bit, not minimalist space, not a Candy Crush. It's a space where education tips are not going to be gray and boring, and it's accessible to everyone. And Lucas now is going to show us the MVP.
Yeah, because Jordi talked about like amazing stuff. So what about seeing something here that it released to you? So we have prepared here a demo of the Dogstar League. So play it. Here you can see as the user like creating his profile. So when the user starts at the leaderboard, you see that all data is set to 0, and the only tokens that they will have are the sponsor's token, which is in this case Aqua. Thanks Aqua for letting us use you as an example. So when the round starts and the timer goes, the user will keep going, doing tradings, doing liquidity pooling, canceling orders, putting orders, and Terry will help them through this process. So at the end of the round, what we will do is we swap all back to the sponsor's token. So when we do that, we can see if the player, where the player stands at the leaderboard, right? So in this case, they have a 10% win, so at the leaderboard, they are the first. So really easy to sum it up. We just give them some tokens, then play, learn, have fun, swap, trade, swap back all to the token, sponsor's token, and then the amazing part, they will keep to get if they get profit, they will keep it, right? So that's so cool. But you may be asking the same question as I do. How would you do that? We cannot invent money. So what we have done here is we leverage Soroban to create an auction smart contract that will manage the sponsored spaces from our sponsors. So with this, you have a demo here as how it does work. You have the smart contract in GitHub. You can see it. It's in open source. You can see how the sponsor will bid for the auction, and this is how it works. Quite simple. A platform in which you have a space to bid, advertise, and this has a price. So the more users we get, the more traction, the more interest for the sponsors, and of course, as many users we have, better for Stellar, because this is an on-ramp for Stellar for users to have an education way to on-ramp. So this is our platform. We hope you like it. You can join us in shaping the game of the GameFi of the future. And we just released the Dockstar wallet. So if you scan the code and you go for it, you create your first users, please do it. You will get a super, super nice t-shirt like this one that I'm wearing here. In the front is really, really, really cute. In the back, it's quite Dockstar style. So thank you so much for your time. Glad to see you here.
All right, thank you so much. Very exciting. All right, next up we have Sophia from Block Eden. Give it up for Sophia. Woo!
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia, the CTO of Block Eden XYZ. If you're a dApp developer building on Soroban, we want to be your best ally by serving APIs and data with the best developer experience. Block Eden is an API marketplace on Move, Rust, and EVM blockchains. We have 21 APIs supported. We've been building our business with a global and distributed team, from communities to novel blockchains. When we were serving dApp developers, we found that almost 70% of their time was spent on processing blockchain data, while only 30% of the time was spent on the core business logic. However, 100% of the time is your responsibility to build a competitive product. So the question is, how do you, Soroban devs, outspeed other dApp vendors at scale? With Block Eden, you can offload those hassles onto us. Imagine the status quo. The architecture today, if you want to build on Soroban, you need to run RPC nodes yourself and fetch data from Horizon. You need to deal with Golang, Rust build errors, deployment, data processing, data cleaning, and maintenance, yada, yada. All of these take enormous precious time that could have been spent on improving your product. What if there's a better way? With Block Eden XYZ, we will process the data, maintain a database, and provide a developer-friendly interface for you, so you can spend more precious time developing the business logic. So a typical workflow is that you go to the business analytics portal to inspect the schema and find the data you want. And then you can go to the indexer GraphQL playground to write the API query. This way, developers' life can be really easy. We can save time and easily explore and use API to get tokens, transactions, account and ledger entries, smart contracts data on Soroban. Block Eden XYZ enables you to drive changes at the 3 times iteration speed at scale. So let's see it in action with a short demo. So on the dashboard, you can create an access key. And if you click on the access key, you can see all the APIs we support, and Stellar Soroban Indexer is among them. You can click on Browse Data to see all the data we indexed as tables. And you can check out, for example, this account entries table. These are all the data we indexed. We also token metadata and token operations. It's really easy to filter as well. If you go back to the indexer page, you can grab the connection string and play around with the API. Sometimes we want to query by the contract ID, sometimes we want to query by the address. So you can easily change that in this interface. You can also query account entries. We were doing token operations just now. And it's really easy to inspect all the schema in this playground. Besides the indexer, we also support standard RPC calls. So we initiated our designing, scoping, and planning phase in July, and then built intensively in August and September. So we're super happy to announce that we already launched in beta today. We are also partnering with Stellar ecosystem projects like Fertile Wallet browser extension. So Fertile Wallet use our data to get the smart contract state expiration and token operations. we prioritize to save time and money for them drastically. So thank you so much for your time. If you want to sign up for to receive $10 credit, scan the QR code on the left, and please come talk to me afterwards, or scan the QR code on the right to talk to us about how we can partner to build together. Thank you so much. Build with Block E Next Lazy today.